Welcome back. Now, high levels of unemployment continue to be a major concern in South Africa. These figures affect a large number of young people across the country who struggle to find employment. Now, they're being encouraged to consider careers and businesses in agriculture. Experts claim there are lots of opportunities within that sector. The Empower Entrepreneur Summit, currently taking place in Orange Farm, aims to provide youth with information about the agriculture value chain. For more on this, we are joined by Dr. Langelihle Simela from the ABSA Agribusiness. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on eNCA. Just firstly, tell me why Orange Farm was chosen to be the place where the summit would be held. Is it because, you felt that there would be more opportunity for the youth there to be able to get information and start a business in agriculture?
Thank you, Maseko, and thank you for having us over here. So Orange Farm is chosen because it's a peri-urban area. And I think if you realize that youth in urban areas usually have a lot of access to information generally. But when you go to peri-urban, to rural areas, there is less access to information. So there's a high population of people living in Orange Farm. And I was there yesterday, and lots of young people, very enthusiastic to learn and enthusiastic just to get access to information. So it is really a good side to have a summit such as is going on right now.
And tell me about the finances, for people to start businesses already, even before they think of agriculture. Sometimes they need to get loans, etc. And some banks, the repayments of those loans are going to have them in debt for a very long time. Will there be some information from ABSA on that, for the youth, especially because agriculture, most of us look at it as owning a farm, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we have shared quite extensive information on access to finance. The starting point really is your grants, your soft loans. There are many institutions that offer those kind of loans, those kind of financing instruments, your grants, soft loans, and so on for youth that they can tap into. So that's what we're alerting them to, that as you start off your business, no matter what form of finance that you're using, use it wisely. And demonstrate your ability to use that finance. Because normally, once they come to commercial banks, the biggest challenge is they've been going probably 3, 4, 5 years. But as commercial banks will ask you, show your record, prove to us that you're actually a viable business. And then they cannot prove it because they really have not been keeping adequate records of what they've been doing. So they talked to them really yesterday, at least from my side, was even as you start with your own savings or whatever sources of money that you have, manage your records, because it's like your school certificates. When you apply for a job, you produce various school certificates and say, here, I'm qualified. So from a financial perspective as well, we're saying, keep your records, because that is proof of your qualification. And then we're able to lend you, because we can understand your business, we can assess it from the financials that you've been keeping.
And tell us about the value chain and how this will not only assist, I think at least with the unemployment in South Africa, but also the food security.
Yes, the agri-value chains are very interesting right now, Maseko. I think in the past, once you produced your food, it went into some market, it was bought by somebody. And then as we developed, markets became a bit more stringent. So you really had to understand your market, lock your market in before you produced. But now there's a whole lot of considerations along the value chain, which opens up a lot of opportunities. If you just look at, I keep using the vegetable example, that going into vegetable production, you've got fertilizer, you've got agrochemicals, you've got mechanization. Somebody has got to produce those things, and somebody's got to get those things to where they are needed. So there's a lot of job in opportunities there, as well as entrepreneurial opportunities just in providing inputs to agriculture. Then if you look up the value chain now, accessing markets, there's logistics, there's the markets itself, there's a whole lot of information that the markets require now, not just on the quality and the volume of the product, but where has it been produced, how has it been produced. So that too opens up a lot of opportunities for employment, as well as opportunities for entrepreneurs to fill in that space.
And your advice to those who might have an interest in the agriculture sector, but grew up in urban areas or townships such as Soweto, where they have absolutely no knowledge. Do they even stand a chance if they approached a bank, for instance, to say, I'd like to buy hectares of land somewhere to start an agriculture business?
They do, but I always say the starting point is equip yourself with knowledge and information, which is what that summit was all about. So the first farm will probably not be financed by a bank because they're a startup. So they still have a lot to learn and understand before they borrow somebody's money to put in there. So they would need angel financing, venture capital, those kind of soft finances that will enable them to start up. But for them to find that out is get informed, be linked with the people that provide the right information. If I may share, yesterday when we had the presentation, there was this young man, listened very intently, and then he came up to ask a few questions afterwards. And then he said to me, I want to be great one of these days. And then he says, no, I am going to be great. Watch the space. But the point about him is he's listening, he's using the information and applying it and using that information to grow himself.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. Just my last question. Of course, this is day 2 of the entire summit. How do people get involved? How does the youth that is interested get involved, even if it's for the next one that's to come?
So we're partnering with the EmpowerWorks to present the summit. We're actually supporting EmpowerWorks to present the summit. So I would ask them to go to the EmpowerWorks website. It's EMPOWAWORX. That's how you spell it. Sorry, I hope that came across. EMPOWAWORX. So it's empowerworks.co.za. There they will see the lineup of other summits that are coming up. But we were also encouraging the youth that were participating in the summit that reach out and say what your needs are, because it's quite possible then to have smaller groups of engagement just to address the specific needs that they have.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Doc, for speaking to us here on eNCA. That is Dr. Langelihle Simela. She is from ABSA Agribusiness.